is often a mess. Files are passed back and forth, endless final versions are saved, and nobody ever has the right fonts. At Figma, we thought the design process needed a redesign, and so that's what we did. Figma is a platform where teams design together. It unites everyone in your creative process. Bring that idea to life in a design, wireframe, or prototype. Figma does it all in the cloud. Let your writer do their word magic right in your design file. Figma lets you both get on the same page, literally. Partner with your developer early and often, even if they live on the other side of the globe. Figma makes handoff more like a handshake. Invite your stakeholders to give feedback and note comments right in your work. Figma helps you get what you need and helps others get what they need. And all of this you can do together in real time, without stepping on each other's toes. It's time to design on your terms with Figma.
Creative and impactful, which is why we created a whole new InVision. InVision is now the place where your teams and tools come together in one real-time collaborative workspace. Whether you're focused on crafting the ideal user experience or diving deep into the numbers, drawing out the best in people with a deadline, nailing that big presentation, or keeping the trains running on time and everyone up to date. It's all right here, your tools, and an infinite collaborative canvas, in the browser and the places you already meet. The new InVision is the real-time collaborative workspace made for the future of all the work you do.
The free trial or buy it. It's not that expensive. In fact, for what you're getting, it's $79. And if you compare that to Photoshop or whatever, I mean, it's not even close. So go ahead and download Sketch 3 and check it out. Keep in mind, I have no affiliation with Sketch 3. I have no affiliation with Bohemian Coding. I just like this application a lot, and I think that there needs to be more resources for people who want to learn the total features in controlling Sketch 3. So what are some of those features? Basically, everything's like vectors, right? So working with vectors is really easy. And I have never been a huge fan of Illustrator myself, just because I started on Photoshop and then you move to Illustrator and some of the commands weren't the same and things like that. But with Sketch, the vector tools just seem perfect, right? They just seem nice and easy to work with and accomplish what you need them to accomplish. Now, keep in mind, I primarily use this for web design, but I do use it for other types of creation as well. Now, you can have a folder structure and layout structure. You can see a little bit of the interface here. We're going to be going over more of the interface in the next video. It snaps to pixels. You have this pixel zoom feature where you can zoom in and you're going to be seeing the fine lines of a vector, or you can basically convert the zoom to what it would be like if it was a raster, so you could look into what it would look like if you were zooming in to the pixels themselves. text rendering is great. There also is like text styles, so you can set up text styles sort of like CSS, and with that you can reuse these text styles throughout your project. So no more adding a text style, changing a text style and having to change it everywhere. Now, just like Photoshop, which you're used to, there's also blending modes and opacities. There's easy to add dimensions with this inspector. There's tons and tons of tools, reusable elements, which are fantastic. Basically, you can create something once, reuse it, and have it be referenced throughout your project. Symbols, textiles, like I said, grids and grid tools. There's like web grids, there's grids, there's all sorts of stuff. Like, how many times have you maybe had to download a grid or a starter project for a website in Illustrator that has like guides set up to be a custom grid for whatever you're using? Well, Sketch has really awesome grid tools to build web grids. And there's also exporting. You can export your assets and your CSS styles. I don't really use this because I like to write my own CSS, but it exists. And because Sketch is for Mac, it takes advantage of the autosave features that you'd be used to. And if you have an iOS device, which I don't, you can mirror your project on that device and see what it's going to be looking like, and even have swipe to navigate and stuff like that. So check that out. Download Sketch 3, and in the next video we're going to get started. We're going to open it up and we're going to take a look at the interface and just play around with it. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or hit us up at Twitter or Facebook. Pretty much anywhere. We love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Interactions, as well as how to view your prototypes in a web browser. Let's get started. Axure RP files are organized into pages, which you can manage in the Pages pane. To add a new page, click the Add Page button. You can double-click a page to open it on the canvas, where you can add widgets, such as text widgets, shape widgets, and form fields. To add a widget to the canvas, just drag it from the Libraries pane. You can also use the Insert menu to draw widgets. To edit the text on a widget, double-click it or select it and press Enter. You can change the style properties of a widget, including fill color and font, using the Style toolbar above the canvas. You can also use the Style pane to the right. Now let's add some interactivity with the Interactions pane. To quickly create a link to another page in your prototype, we can use a common interaction. Select a widget and click the Open Link interaction. Then select a page. Let's test that out. Clicking the Preview button opens the page in a browser. If we click the Next Page button, it takes us to page 2 as expected. You can do a lot more than just link between pages. Let's create an interaction that shows an image when you mouse over a button and hides it again when you mouse off the button. First, let's hide the image by default using the Style toolbar. Then select the button widget and click New Interaction. Choose the mouse enter event and the show/hide action. In the drop-down, let's select the image widget and leave Show selected. Next, we'll use the mouse exit event to hide the image. Preview to see that working. Perfect. Let's make one more interaction, but this time using a dynamic panel. Dynamic panels are containers with multiple states, and you can easily change which state is visible using interactions. Start by dragging a dynamic panel from the Libraries pane. Double-click it to open the first state, and drag and drop a couple widgets into that state. To add a second state, click the State drop-down and choose Add State. Now we can add a couple widgets to the second state. To see and edit all the states at once, click View All. Next, let's add a button and use the Set Panel State action to set the dynamic panel to its next state when the button is clicked. Let's try it out. In the preview, you can see the panel state change. Using dynamic panels is a quick way to prototype almost anything. When you're ready to share your prototype, click Share to publish to Axure Cloud. Enter a name and an optional access code. Then click Publish to get a shareable link. Now you're ready to get started in Axure RP. Head over to axure.com/.